Lori here with the exercise in Tableau, learning how to create worksheets or views. Worksheets are right down here. As we add them, we're going to hit this little plus sign and it will give us new ones. This 4 square is for dashboards, which we'll do later, and this little storybook is for stories, which we will do later. So we're going to start out with finding the data that we want. So let me close this down. Let me bring up Tableau. Up. Bear with us. There we go. And the data we're going to pick up is this world indicators data. And you're going to see here that we have business data, development data, health data, and population data. We have it by country and region, and by year. So if we look just at our data real quick, we're going to see that these are all different years. So we've got the birth rate, tax rate, etc. for various countries, all of these different countries. And we're going to find out that there are tons and tons of rows and lots of columns here too. And we've also got some information by year. So I think the years are 2000, so through 2014 maybe. Let's take a look at that. And we're going to go down here to year. And yep, double clicking it puts it up in to our shelves. And we've got 2000 through 2012. So whatever we're doing here, we're probably going to want to choose the average rather than the sum for a metric or a measure, because that's going to be more meaningful. All right, so let's go ahead and take year and just drag it back down here, take it out of the shelf. And the very first thing we want to do is open the World Indicator Sample Database. We've done that. Now we're going to take a map of the world based on average business tax rate. So we're going to double click on tax rate, and we want the world, so we're going to do country region, and we want a map, so we're going to click on that. And there you go. Boom. And as Reed said, he likes to hold the shift bar down and slide it over so Alaska is still attached on the left-hand side to give us a better look. And we've already done that. So we've created a map of the world based on average business tax rate, and the bubbles do increase the size, but we've got some here and we need to change that to average. So we're going to go over, click on that, and let me pause because the dogs are barking. Hold on, I'll be right back. And we're back. So we've got the average business. We can see this in the green pill, and we've got country region, and we've got it in a map, and the rate indicates the size of the bubble indicates the rate. So we can see here in Congo a pretty big bubble. Next to it is Burundi with a large bubble, and over here is Gambia with another large bubble. United States, much smaller at 0.464 rather than, remember, this was 3 something. Yep. All right, so that's number 1. Now we're going to do a map based on average business tax rate, so that's what we've got, but fill in the countries and color them along a continuum. So we're going to name this sheet number 1 so that we know what we've done. And then we're going to copy it or duplicate it. Let's just duplicate it. Looks good. But we no longer want bubbles. We want a filled map, or what's called a choropleth. All right, that didn't work. Let's do shift, move it over. There we go. And I think we've decided that blue, dark blue, is not necessarily a color that raises alarms. So let's go ahead and change our color. And we're going to go here, edit our colors. We're going to put, instead of being on automatic, we're going to put a continuum, and I'm going to do red gold. And gold is better than dark red, so I think that works for me. I don't need to reverse it. I'm going to apply it, and okay, looks good. I've got a high alert here in Congo at 3074, and the colors of the rest of the world indicate, relatively speaking, the average business tax rate. So that's great. And did you notice that we're rolling over the countries, and what's called a tooltip pops up showing us the country, the name of the country, and the average business tax rate. So we're all done with number 2. So let's label it number 2. All right, we're going to need a new one. So we're going to click on that little button down here to create a new sheet. And this is going to be a map based on average lending rate. So let's get our lending interest rate and let's get our country region by double clicking on it. And we need a map. So that looks good. Let's slide her over. Oops, not very good. Slide her over. There you go. Reed will be happy. And again, we've got sum here, and we don't want sum because that's not really meaningful. We're going to go for average. Okay. And there we go. Now, Reed would want us to color this differently, so we're going to click on color. We're going to edit our colors. And I'm going to pick something a little bit different. I'm going to pick gold purple. Let's see how ugly or wonderful that is. That works. Purple stands out. I'm going to go with it. It's not the most beautiful map I've ever made, but it's working for this process. And let's try reversing it and see if that makes it look better. I don't know that it will. Let's try reversing it. We'll apply that. Let's see. I liked it better the other way. Let's go back up, edit our colors, take off the reverse tag, apply, okay, boom. Alrighty. I think there are other color schemes that would show a lot better what's going on here, but we're going to play around with it to see whether we like it. All right, so that's number 3, and we're done. We're flying here. All right, number 4. Number 4, we need a filled color map of average hours to do taxes. So let's go to our hours to do taxes. Let's go to our country region. We're going to go do the filled map, the coral pleth. We're going to come over here and shift it over so Reed's happy that Alaska's on the left-hand side. And this is the sum of hours to do business, but we probably want the average. So let's go switch that over. And we've got color size. Let's do the edit colors. Let's not do blue. Let's do orange. And it'll get much darker if the number of days to do business, I think that's what we're doing. Yep, average hours to do taxes. So that's number 4, which is the average hours to do taxes. And we pop over here and we can see the average hours to do the tax in Greenland is not popping up, but it's 124 hours in Canada, 237 in the United States, and in Brazil, it's 2,600 hours. That's probably a place where you don't want to be an accountant doing taxes. Miserable. All right, so that's number 4. All right, let's do a new one. Number 5. Create a map of average hours to do taxes using bubbles to indicate the amount of hours. So I think we could just go back to 4 and right-click and duplicate. There it is. And we're going to do bubbles. So let's try the bubble chart, packed bubbles. That's how we know it's a packed bubble. So we hover over it and it says packed bubbles. And it works. It shows us Brazil has a huge number of hours. And if we go roll over it, we can see from the tooltip that it takes 2,600 hours. Nigeria is another one of $1,000. So if you're not so interested in the actual region of the country or region of the world that these are in, then the bubble chart works because you can quickly spot the ones that are very big. It's not very good for determining the ones that are roughly the same and small, but for picking out the outliers on the large size, I think it does work. So that's great. All right, and that's number 5. All right, our sheet 6, we want to create, this is the box and whiskers plot. So let's go ahead, that's a whole new thing. Days to start a business, average days to start a business. So we're going to double click on the average days, and we're going to click on our country and region, but we don't want the sum of days, we want the average days. So we're going to switch that up to average. And this is a bar chart, it's not bad, we can flip it over this way. And we could make it look like this. Oh, I like this. This is a very informative chart, but it's not what the instructions told us. The instructions told us to do a box and whiskers. So let's do a box and whiskers. There it is. This box and whiskers is helpful because it shows us that there's one country that's a tremendous outlier, and that's Suriname at 694 days to start a business. The next worst country is Guinea-Bissau at 185 and Haiti at 171. So if your story is that Suriname is a terrible place to start a business just because it will take so long, then this chart works. If you're trying to tell a story down here about the box and whisker, I don't think it's very effective. I think if you want to see the other countries, then that horizontal bar chart was better, where we were able to arrange things in descending order. I think this is an effective chart, but it doesn't really convey quite as well, I don't think, as the box and whiskers, which shows what a tremendous outlier Suriname is. So that will be number 6. Now, I'm not going to I'm not going to take the time in this video to show you how to create beautiful titles for everything. But you see where I put number 6, it shows up here as number 6. And I can always go down and say, I can add a title to this one, which is Suriname. It takes almost 2 years form a business in Suriname. There you go. Now I've got a nice title up there, and it's informative, and it tells me exactly, other than the fact that I can't space things, it gives everybody an idea what we're taking away from this, right? Okay, but we're not going to title everything because I don't want to take away all the titling fun from you. Now we're going to create a highlight table with your average ease of business data. So we're going to create a whole new one. We're going to take ease of business. We're going to take our country, region, and we're going to do a highlight. There you go. And this is a highlight table, sometimes known as a heat map. And what we can do here is, this is good if you wanted to look at specific countries. You would leave them in alphabetical order. But if you were trying to tell a story about where it's tough, first of all, we would want to change it to sum of ease of business to average, and the same for the color, average. Doesn't change the color very much, but it is a more accurate representation of what we're trying to do. Okay, so here we can see that it takes a score of 189 ease of business in Chad. And I'm thinking that ease of doing business on 189 is not good, because if I go this way, I can see that Singapore, Hong Kong, these are all pretty business friendly. So I can easily see that the ease of doing business, a low score is better. And so if here my story is highly developed nations have tremendously easier, typically easier to do business in than less developed countries, then that could be my story here. But let's see, create a highlight table with average ease of business, do it from highest to lowest. So we do have to go from highest to lowest. There we go. Be sure you have your value showing for each country, and we do. So that was sheet 7, number 7. Almost halfway done. Sheet number 8 is create a horizontal bar chart with your average ease of business data. Reorder it from lowest to highest. So ease of business and country, region, and we're going to make a horizontal bar chart. So that's one of these. Great. Let's go ahead, and we don't want to use sum. We're going to go find that measure and change it to average. And then we're going to order it from lowest to highest. There you go. So Singapore, Hong Kong, SAR, that's what we were looking for. Horizontal bar chart with your ease of business data reordered from lowest to highest. Perfect. We're done with number 8. All right, let's do number 9. Number 9 says create a side-by-side chart for business tax rate and lending rate. Business tax rate, lending rate. Let's go up and make those both average. There we go. Measure average. We're going to do country, region. And they want us to do a side-by-side chart. So let's go over here, and that's this one called a side-by-side chart. And there you have it. And it's a pretty ugly chart, and you certainly can't read what's going on down here. But that's what we were told to do, and that's what we've done. Now we could transpose it so it was like this. Might be a little bit easier to understand. I think it certainly is easier to read the labels. So I'm going to leave it like this because it's not specific, and I like this better. 9. All right, and remember, Jess showed us how we could change the colors of our bars and other things like that. But we're just getting through this so you guys can see how to do it. Oh, rotate your chart so it becomes a horizontal side-by-side chart. I already anticipated that. So let's undo this. There we go. And then we're going to duplicate this chart. And we're going to label this one number 9. And then we're going to go up here and we're going to transpose things with this little 6 square and arrows. There we go. And we're going to call this number 10. We're flying is right. All right, number 11, create a packed bubble chart for days to start a business. All right, let's try days to start a business. And we need to get rid of tax rate, so we just toss it out of there. Lending rate, toss it out of there. Oops, we tossed everything out of there. There we go. Sum, but we don't want sum, we want average. So we'll do that. And then this is a packed bubble chart. See, I hover over it and it says packed bubble. Now, this I think is a wonderful representation of what an outlier Suriname is. So I think this is much better. Well, the bar chart was good, the horizontal bar, the box and whiskers was good, but this is perhaps better. I really like this one. And that's number, did I do that? Oh, that's number 11. So let me rename this. Let me go back and take my number 9, duplicate it, because I apparently wrote right over what I was working on. And they just wanted us to transpose it. So we'll make that number 10. Beautiful. All right, let's go to make a new sheet. This is sheet 12, a circle view of average days to start a business using just one column. So average days to start a business, and we'll use a country region. And this is our circle chart here, circle view. There it is. And this shows us a little bit of an outlier, Suriname again. Maybe a little cleaner than the box and whiskers, but doesn't show us where the median is and the upper hinge and the lower hinge. So it doesn't give us any statistical information, but it does provide an indication that it's pretty much out there. But again, we've got sum and we want average, so let's do that. There you go. All right, this is number 12. Number 13. Circle view of days to start a business where there is one column for each country. Okay, so we're going to take country again. We're going to duplicate this. I'm hoping I remember how to do this. Duplicate. And we're going to take country and bring it over here for columns. There we go. And now you can see there's a little circle for each country. And it shows that it bounces around quite a bit. Unfortunately, it's not very helpful because you got to scroll all over the place to get it going and things like that. So not my favorite chart, but it is a useful chart. And I think if we were, for instance, to just do region instead of country region, let's take region out and the country region out, that looks a little bit better, right? But there. That looks better, but that's not what we were asked to do, so we'll, whoops. There we go. So we created a circle view of days to start a business where there is one column for each country. Done. And that is number 13. And then we're asked to create 15 more views using the development data, and that's this data down here. And we just go in and explore and make maps and bar charts and stacked bars and circle charts and area charts and heat maps or highlight charts. I think they call them highlights. This one is called a heat map and this one is called a highlight table. a packed bubbles charts, etc. So we'd try out all these charts on this group of data. And again, we'd want to use averages because the data is over a period of 12 years, 12 or 13 years, and we would want averages are much more indicative of the underlying data. So not so bad. That's it. We're done. If you have any questions, remember to text us. We are much more available via text than any other way. Have a great night.